Welcome to my studio. It's so lovely to have you along, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to be doing an Indian head massage today. So I was already saying to you earlier that you have amazing hair. I'm already touching it now. For the purpose of it being filmed is do the Indian head massage seated. The reason for that is we can do an Indian head massage lying down, but visually we can do it seated and see all those lovely movements that we do with the hair and with the scalp. So this is a really nice taster and an idea of what Indian head massage looks and feels like from a seated position. So hopefully you and hopefully your viewers will really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure. So what we'll do is we'll begin this treatment with a little bit of calming, relaxation, and just coming back into the now, back into the body. Then we'll do a little bit of work around the shoulders, the scalp, and then I'm going to finish with a couple of points on your face. And I think you've got just a little bit of makeup on, but that doesn't matter because I'm literally just going to be pushing into these little points around the face that help. They're so lovely, help to relieve pressure. You're going to have a lovely sleep tonight, hopefully, as well, which is great. So have you got any questions, or are you ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm ready to relax. I'm excited.
Ready to relax. Good.
Thank you.
So you notice I'm just already placing the hands onto the shoulders, and this is just a really nice, gentle way of me saying this is us coming into the calm space now where you can relax. I know you don't have any allergies or you don't have any health conditions, so what I'm doing now is just bringing you into this space where you can feel calm and supported. It's a safe space and you don't need to respond to anything from here on out. So just close down the eyes if they're not closed already. Yeah, that's nice. Just close down the eyes. And just feeling that gentle pressure on the shoulders. Just bringing you into the space, into your body, and into this beautiful treatment that we're going to be doing today. Often we're breathing up into the neck and the shoulders, but you actually want to take the breath down into the tummy. And when you do that, that's instantly just going to make you feel more calm. Yeah, so feel the belly rise and fall as you breathe. Yes. And by doing that, you're taking the breath away from the neck and the shoulders and the chest. When we breathe up in the chest, it means our breathing isn't as efficient. It puts us into more of a state of stress. Take the breath down into the belly. Instantly, we feel more calm. And our breathing is more efficient, more full. That's really nice. And the breath is never forced. It's always just calm. Just bringing you back into the space, into your body. And just know that this time is for you. That's really good. What I'm going to do to begin the session is just cleanse the space, the aura, with a little bit of sound and also sage as well. I'm just going to grab a little bit of sage from over here. Let me see if I can find which one it is. Now, sage is a really beautiful essential oil, but a lot of people will use like an incense of sage as well to cleanse a space. When we talk about cleansing space, cleansing your aura, essentially, I'm just going to place this onto the shoulders and onto the forehead as well. Maybe just as you breathe, as much as you're breathing into the belly, just take the breath through the nose as well. So you're taking on that lovely essential oil. And so, yeah, when we're talking about energy and then cleansing our aura, essentially we are all vibrating on different frequencies. So I'm vibrating on one frequency, you're vibrating to a different frequency, everybody is vibrating to different frequencies. And as well as that, different spaces have different frequencies as well. And so if you're around somebody that's super positive, often you leave that space feeling positive yourself. If you're around somebody negative, you're going to leave maybe feeling a bit down in the dumps. But what we want to be able to do is not be super affected by those different frequencies. When we come home, we want to just take time to breathe, relax, and rid some of that energy that we've taken on throughout the day. Space can also hold different energy and frequency as well. A lot of people say they feel more calm by the ocean, or, you know, it's quite awe-inspiring to be around a mountainous landscape. And so, good or bad, we do want to come back home to our own natural vibrational frequency at the end of each day to help us feel less drained, help us to feel more calm. And so sage is one of those ways that we can cleanse a space and cleanse an aura. We can also use sound. So I'm just going to use a little bit of sound now just to cleanse a space. That's really good work, breathing into the belly still. Sound is also a really beautiful way to just bring us back to the here and now, especially if we have a busy mind. And that's what I also find with the lovely Indian head massage as well, is a lot of times when people have massage, a lot of people come to me for reflexology as well, when we're working so far away from the head and the scalp, it can, if you do have a busy mind, it can kind of prevent people from fully relaxing. Whereas when you're working with the scalp and the head and the neck, these areas that are so close to our mind, and if we're an overthinker, we can end up just getting lost in our thoughts. But when we work on the scalp and we apply pressure here, then it can be a great way to help you stay in the now and in the treatment. It's really nice work with the breath. So already starting to feel more calm, which is amazing. I'm going to talk through the treatment for the purpose of the video, but also because often when clients come in and they're maybe a little bit anxious, maybe a little bit het up, maybe they have a lot going on, that voice can be a really great way to help people, again, just come back into the treatment, to step away from the chaos of the mind, the busy mind. Now, normally an Indian head massage would be done, or I would normally do an Indian head massage laying down. And we would begin with an upper back massage, and then move into the scalp work. And then we'd finish the treatment lying on the back and do a couple of points on the face. Today, we're going to do a couple of different acupressure points on the shoulders and down the arms and also across the chest. I'm going to work on the scalp, and then we're just going to do a couple of points on the face as well, which will be really calming. Alright, so I'm just going to move the hair over to the side. Just making sure that nothing is going in the face too much. It's not too much of a problem if the hair does go forward a little bit, but I find if the hair goes right in front of the client's eyes, that you want to be pulling that back. Or sometimes when I do the neck and shoulder part, if we are ever seated for whatever reason, maybe the client can't lay down, then I would maybe just take the hair up in a little clip and we would pop it up out the way so that we don't need to worry about the hair. But in this case, I'm only going to be doing a couple of points on Melissa's shoulders. And already you're doing a great job on taking the breath down into the belly, which is allowing those shoulders to relax. I'm just going to press gently on top of the shoulders. I'm just going to do acupressure points. If I was going to do massage, then I would use oil. All of these different points are really good for sending signals around the nerve endings to help bring our body back into balance and alignment. And some of these points potentially could feel sharp, so if they do feel too sharp, then you just let me know, okay? And it's really good because Melissa has her arms by her side and then resting on her legs, which is exactly what you want. Normally if the arms are all the way down, then the blood flow is she's gonna start getting maybe swollen or uncomfortable feeling in her hands. So where she is now is gonna be really good for the blood flow. Amazing. And I'm going to just turn slightly side on so that Melissa can then lean back into me a little bit just with her back. I'm just going to just place my hands just under the collarbone here. I'm just going to press along, because especially if people have very rounded shoulders or if they struggle with confidence as well, a lot of people hunching forwards and pressing into these points of the chest, there's a little bit of tightness there actually, can really help to relieve pressure. Massage of the chest is actually super important if you experience back pain, because the chest often shortens with poor posture, and poor posture often links to our emotional well-being as well. I'm just going to do some brushing movements here. This is talking about energy earlier, a great way just to signal that we're just ridding the body of any negativity. And it's also nice when we're having a treatment to mix up the soft and the hard, different textures and ways of moving through the treatment. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the scalp. And when you have an Indian head massage, we're working essentially with the fascia. So there is like a thin sheet of muscle, very surface layer underneath the skin called the fascia. And this fascia wraps around pretty much the whole body. And The best way to release pressure from the fascia through the body as a whole is through gentle touch, gentle massage, and gentle stretch. But when it comes to the scalp, we want to get that fascia moving. So when I'm putting pressure on Melissa's scalp, I'm trying to actually not so much just move my fingers across the skin. It's more take hold of the skin and move that around. And that's going to get the fascia moving, get the blood to this area, and get some blood flow going, which, as we know, or maybe we're unsure of it, but when we get that blood to the surface, it can really help aid recovery and just be great for ridding the body of toxins. But it's really important to be aware that when you have any form of scalp massage, it doesn't have to be Indian head massage, it can be any form of scalp massage, because we're working right up here where, you know, you've got so many eyes, ears, so many different points that can hold tension. Often if people hold a lot of tension and they then go ahead and have an Indian head massage, it can bring all the rubbish up to the surface, essentially. So you have to be prepared that maybe for the first 24 hours you feel a little bit under the weather, and then the benefits come in sort of at that 48-hour mark. And so when you have an Indian head massage, we're going to be aware of how we might feel afterwards. But we're also aware that 48 hours is when we're really going to feel those amazing, lovely benefits from this beautiful treatment. Okay, and it's really important as well that after something like this, you have loads of water and you look after yourself as well, that you're nice and calm and you're not doing anything upbeat this evening as such. All right, so we begin this treatment, or the scalp part of the treatment, just by working the fingers through the hair. Now, we're not trying to be like a hairdresser. It doesn't actually matter if there is knots in the hair. We're just trying to give that feeling of fingers running through the hair, because that's just a lovely thing to feel. It's also a lovely thing to do, and as first thing I said to Melissa is she has amazing hair, so this is the ideal client to do an Indian head massage on. However, interestingly, you can do Indian head massage on people with no hair as well, because everybody has that fascia. Once we've combed through the hair, we are just gently stroking down the hair. And I would always normally ask my client if they would be happy for me to use oil in the treatment. But again, for the purpose of today's video, we're not going to use oil. Now we're going to introduce some pressure. So I'm going to bring my hands either side of the head and just press and lift and release. Press and lift and release. You can use quite a lot of pressure. You just got to check that your client's okay with it. So, I mean, that was quite medium pressure. Did that feel okay?
Yeah, felt lovely.
Okay, perfect. So once we've got that pressure, we can then start to incorporate some movement. And the thing I love about this treatment is it makes a good noise. So especially if you have a busy mind, then you've got that distraction of the sound as well, which can just bring you back into your body. And it's always nice just in between those different techniques just to come back to this nice stroking movement. So this is where I'm going to start actually moving that fascia around on the scalp. This is the movement probably a lot of us know. A lot of movements like this is what people tend to do when they feel stressed anyway. They might just naturally go to this kind of clawing motion with the hands. When you're working seated, it's always good to get more pressure by just placing the front hand to the forehead so that I can sort of press Melissa's head sort of into my hand and apply a bit more pressure, like so. Back to those lovely strokes. I'm going to pay some attention now to the occipital bones at the back of the head, around the neck. So we essentially have the neck running up and then joining to the scalp, and then sort of either side of the spine we have these 2 points that we're going to massage into and link to the nervous system. So when we massage these points, it can really help us to feel more calm. So I'm going to be using the heel of my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and just place the heel of the hand there, and then the other hand onto the forehead. Good. We'll do that on the other side. And then again, just stroking, just coming back to these movements every time. They're really beautiful movements. But again, just break up the different techniques. I'm going to be doing the same movement again, this kind of cupping around that occipital point, but I'm going to work my way up the side of the scalp. So I'm going to start at the base, and I'm moving. That's it. Both the fascia, but also the hair as well. You can see I'm using my arm as well to support Melissa's head. And even just when we play with the hair, which is just a very nostalgic thing, it can be really comforting for a client. And just when we do that, it's important that we've finished the movement, so we come all the way down to the very ends of the hair. There's something really lovely about finishing that movement, and even though your client doesn't necessarily feel the hair being touched, they feel and they know when you've reached the very ends of the hair. So always really nice to work all the way down. Okay. So now we're going to do some more chopping movements. And for this we want a bit of drama. So we're going to try and really get the hair moving. And it's just to, again, stimulate that blood flow. And it's important to incorporate both soothing movements and energizing movements as well. Often at the start I might have a discussion with the client, you know, what they're looking to get out of the treatment. Maybe if they just want it to be nice and calm, maybe we'll do just more of the smooth movements. Or if they want to feel energized, maybe more of these movements. We can then tap as well, like raindrops over the scalp. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to do this pulling of the hair. And believe it or not, pulling the hair does actually feel quite nice. You just have to check in with your client. Does that feel okay if I'm doing that?
Feels okay.
Yeah, okay. So, twisting the hair, and that is going to stop it from tangling too much as well. But that gentle pressure, pulling of the hair is actually really nice. And it can be a really nice release of pressure. Okay. And of course, if somebody has shorter hair, like if I have a man come for Indian head massage, which is really lovely at the minute, quite a lot of men are having this treatment because not that many men are very open with their emotions, but it seems more recently that a lot more men are looking after themselves and practicing self-care. And so when I have somebody with shorter hair, then I will just kind of take little strands and pull like that, so there'll be no twisting. And for no hair, of course, we just miss out that part of the treatment, but it's very inclusive. I would recommend this treatment for anyone who suffers with headaches, anxiety, stress, insomnia. It's just a nice all-round treatment. This is a long treatment as well, so I'm just kind of showing you an idea of what you might see in a treatment like this. But it has endless possibilities, and there's so many more things we can do with the scalp. So I'm just gonna actually move on at this point. As much as I love playing with your hair, I'm gonna move on to the points on the face. And these are acupressure points that improve the distribution movement of lymph, so they're really good for ridding toxins from the body. So at this point I'm going to turn side on, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to get you to lean back a little bit into me. That's it, just so you can put your pressure from your head and your back into me. I'm just going to do a couple of different points. These are amazing points to do on yourself. Along the eyebrows. We know this point right here at the side. And then we can go to the side of the nose, down, and then we pull up. And we work along the cheekbones. And you can, especially if you're doing it on yourself, it's really nice because you can put as much pressure as you like. Okay. And then we move from there down just to the top of the mouth. And then the chin. And finally, along the jawline. Okay, I'm going to just finish this treatment with a nice lift from the scalp. So the hand comes just to the base of the scalp, top of the head. And I'm going to ask you, Melissa, just take a deep breath in when you're ready. And then exhale. Good. We're going to do 2 more of those. Deep breath in. And exhale. And then 1 more. Deep breath in. And exhale. Just gently lifting the scalp as she breathes in. And we'll just come calm for a moment. Feel okay?
Yes, wonderful.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm going to just step out now and leave you to have a drink of water, and then I'll pop back in a few moments, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to be doing reflexology today, and me and Melissa have had a nice chat before, and I've asked about any injuries, any health conditions, or any allergies as well, and so we're all good to go ahead from here into the treatment. Now, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to be talking you and Melissa through what I'm doing, but often when I do treatments anyway, I find it quite nice to do just calmly speaking through the treatment with the client. I was saying earlier to Melissa that when we're working on the feet, because the feet is so far away from the head, if we have a busy mind, it can be really easy to get distracted if you do suffer with anxiety or stress. So just having that calm voice to talk you through everything can be a great way to help you get out of that busy mind and into the treatment. In a massage, you might actually place the sage on the body, but I'm just going to bring the scent around the body. So, Melissa, at this point, as much as you're breathing into the belly, take the breath through the nose as well here. That's nice, yeah. And we take on energy throughout our day, the people that we meet, the places that we go. And so this is an opportunity to just come back to you, come back to your aura, your energy. And sage is a great way to help contribute to that. Calming down. So along with the beautiful sage that we've just used, I'm also just going to light some incense. It's just a very nice ritual to do at the start of a treatment. And because we're doing reflexology, the incense is a little bit further away from the head. So the smokiness from the incense is not going to be so intense. I'm just gonna douse the space. It's always a really lovely self-care practice to light some incense at the end of a long day. So I'm going to just pop that over here. We'll let that burn for a few moments. Okay. So I'm going to be working on the feet. Reflexology is such a beautiful, powerful treatment. We're working with different points on the feet that link up to the nervous system. And so essentially we have all of these nerve endings that run down the body and come out through the feet. They also come out all the different extremities, so around the hands, face, ears. But I like to work best with the feet. The hands are a lovely way to begin or end a treatment, but it's not quite as powerful as working with the feet. The hands could also be a really great option for somebody who is maybe a little bit more frail, so maybe somebody elderly or somebody who's poorly. It could be a nice alternative for them. I'm going to use some warm stones as well. I love using warm stones. And I just find that I get cold feet and a lot of my clients get cold feet, so when I had the opportunity to train hot stones, it was a no-brainer because it stops the client's feet from getting cold, and you can also work really beautifully into the feet as well. So I'm going to begin by cleansing the feet. So going back to reflexology and what it's all about. As I mentioned, we have all these nerve endings that come out through the extremities, especially the feet. And when we push on these different points in the feet, they link up to different parts of the body through our nerve endings. So the left side of the body comes out through the left foot, right side of the body comes out through the right foot. When we push into these different points, they can help restore balance through those nerve endings. Nerve endings linking up through to the glands that produce hormones. Hormones are what makes us feel any type of way. So some people experience undiagnosed pain and they don't know what's wrong with them, and they can come to reflexology and it can help unblock some of those points that were causing a misfire in the hormones. A lot of people have reflexology because it helps with sleep, it helps with headaches. I also have a lot of clients with like fibromyalgia, and just a lot of people who just want to come for a treatment because it feels good. You know, a lot of, for me, having reflexology is just nice because it makes me feel more restored, more in balance. Again, it helps with sleep. It's recommended to have a course of reflexology though, so if somebody is trying to work on a specific ailment, you know, if they have, you know, maybe they suffer with migraines, then I would recommend like once a fortnight, once a week even if they could, as we start to work on those issues. But for someone just looking for that relaxation, once every 3 or 4 weeks is good. It's really whatever you can afford and whatever you can commit the time to. Even just something once every now and again is better than nothing. So I'm going to be doing like a a taster of reflexology, like a mini treatment, just to give you the idea of what this treatment is all about. I'm going to talk through some of the different points that I'm going to work through. Right now I'm just warming the feet up, getting, I'm going to say, used to this part of the body being moved and touched. Obviously our feet work very hard for us all day long, and so actually just the massage part is just really nice because it helps us to release tension. And as we work through the feet today, I'm going to be feeling for different tension spots. Areas of imbalance. And maybe spending and paying a little bit more time and attention on those areas. Essentially, when we work on the feet in reflexology, the feet are a replicant of the body itself. So at the top we have the head, and then we move down the spine, right down to the pelvis, lower back, and the hormonal reflexes right around here. And so the feet really map out the rest of the body. And it's actually amazing the results that people get from this treatment. And it's amazing what shows up on the feet as imbalance, and then we replicate that back to the client and they're like, oh, I was having problems with that. It's crazy how it shows up on the feet. It's a very powerful treatment. And the first thing I want to establish is just if there's more mobility in one side than the other. So I'm just going to move the foot. We want to try and just keep this whole foot, ankle, leg super relaxed. Just allowing me to move the foot. And quite a lot of tightness there in the ankles, the Achilles. You know, often people will come with specific foot problems for reflexology, and as much as reflexology is incredible for, you know, tight muscles in the feet, it's not podiatry. So often if somebody has specific problems with their feet, I'll recommend them to a podiatrist, or maybe if they need like orthotics fitted for their shoes. Sometimes the two treatments go hand in hand. Okay. So I'm going to cover up one side. Keep it warm. And I'm going to focus in on the side first. So I'm going to begin by just separating the foot into different zones, working up from the bottom of the foot to the top. This is a good way just to bring the nerve ending points into awareness that the treatment is beginning. And it's a really great way for me to scan the feet, noticing any tension spots, maybe that I'm going to work on. And in a taster treatment, like we're doing today, that's quite important because we won't do the whole nervous system, the whole endocrine system. We're going to focus on the skeletal system. We're going to focus on the digestive system, and I'm going to notice imbalances on other parts, on other systems, and focus on them if needs be. I'm pressing into hypothalamus at the top of the toe, which is like our master gland. Okay, I'm going to do that whole process on the other side. There's lots of different ways that people do reflexology. It depends on the training that you have, but my training was always to switch between feet. I prefer it that way, and I think that's because if you do the whole thing on one foot and then the whole thing on the other foot, I think that you kind of lose the sensation on one foot, whereas you kind of keep both feet aware and active if you switch between the two. That one's still nice and warm. So I'm going to do the same thing on the side. You can see, right, how the toes get cold. It's nice to warm them back up. Okay. So let's just walk up the different zones. It's also super common, you know, if people come for their very first reflexology treatment, that the feet feel very imbalanced because they've never had reflexology before. And sometimes it can take like 3 treatments, 4 treatments to really get some results because, or to really feel for those proper imbalances that are authentic to that person. That's what I find personally, anyway, because I think that the feet need to get used to the idea of the treatment. That's my opinion anyway. I think that the more treatments you do, the more receptive the feet become. So I'm going to switch feet again, and now I'm going to begin working the skeletal system, as well as the sinus points, which are around the toes. So I'm working up first the neck, into the pituitary gland and the head. Feels pretty good. And if we feel any, like, some people say it's a bit like bubble wrap, a bit crunchy, just work on those points for a bit longer. And if there's any pain, you just let me know, okay? Okay, this is feeling good. Often, you know, since like COVID and everything like that, people have had a lot of imbalance around the lungs and the diaphragm. I think there's just a little bit of historical blockage there from people who were poorly. Okay, I'm going to just see how we feel down the spine. Just a little bit around there. I find often that the lower back does tend to be a little bit sore on some people, and that's super common. Like the lower back, hips, all of that kind of area is where a lot of our movements are derived from. So it's super common to have tightness there. A lot of these imbalances are simply just that. You know, they're nothing untoward, nothing to be scared of, just simply imbalances. And the amazing thing with reflexology is there's no harm that can ever be done from this treatment. It is only good. The very worst, you just get a lovely foot massage. The very best, we are maybe bringing the body into balance, reducing any pain in the body. It can also be a lovely treatment for anxiety as well, stress. Okay, so I'm going to come to the shoulder point. Very, very common that this is imbalanced, which it definitely is here. You can probably even feel like crunch, crunch. Yeah. And I'm going to work my way down the leg and the knee, elbow. I mean, some people have a really sensitive feet. It's, you know, if people have extremely sensitive tickly feet, then maybe it's not the treatment for you. But if you're worried about, is this a tickly treatment, it absolutely does not have to be tickly in any way. It's, you know, we do these firm strokes and then we're pressing into the points. So unless you are literally on the extreme side of tickly, then you should be okay. Just going to see how the adrenals feel. Fight or flight response. Just a little bit out there. This part of the foot is a great place to massage when you suffer with anxiety. And it's quite an easy place to reach if you have the flexibility to reach for your feet. You can also use like a tennis ball underfoot and roll your feet out. I would always recommend that. Try and fit it into your daily routine because it will start to stimulate all those, again, nerve endings, bringing you back into balance. Okay, so I'm going to come to the other side now. A little bit of a difference between the two sides. The neck is a little bit tighter on this side. And we did a massage earlier, and there was definite imbalance between the two shoulders, linking to the neck, of course. Okay. I'm going to just work along these points. As I mentioned, this is going to be a taster version of reflexology today. I'm going to show some of the points that we do, but not all of them, so you can get an idea of what you might experience in a treatment. Okay. So let's work down the spine. See if there's any imbalance there. And the thing with reflexology is you can be intuitive with whether it's going to be more pushing or massaging. Everyone has a different technique, and different techniques can be beneficial in different ways. Reflexology can be good for things like menopause or hormonal problems, as well as fertility. Lots of people go specifically for fertility with reflexology, and different techniques can be more beneficial for different ailments and different wants and needs. There's definitely some balance around that point. The adrenals. Okay, let's come to the shoulders. Not as bad. Still tight, but not as bad. Oh, there we go. And then the shoulder point here. Down the leg, knee and elbow. Okay. So I'm now going to work a bit more on the digestive system. I think I'm also going to just do a little bit around the hips as well, because we have the sciatic nerve that we can access quite easily in reflexology. I'm just going to work around this part here on the ankle. And then we can work our way just a little bit up the side of the leg. And I must stress that reflexology should never be painful. Yes, you might feel a little bit of a pushback. You might just sense that there's a bit of tightness there, but it's like a massage. It should feel good. It shouldn't feel painful. As much as there's some incredible benefits we can have from this treatment, it's also super holistic and relaxing. That's very interesting to do as well as a practitioner or as a therapist. Okay. So, do the hip on the other side. The reason I wanted to do digestion or the digestive system is because it links up to so many other factors. So, you know, our emotions can link up to our gut health. Things like how we, of course, digest food, but also our metabolism, our hormone levels can be sometimes affected, our sugar levels. So that's why I do like to incorporate this system into the taster session. So for the digestive system, we need both feet exposed because we start on one side and we keep switching between the two. So I'm going to start just with the gallbladder. Okay. And just walk along. It feels quite good. And I'm not going to hold these points for too long today. Sometimes when you have reflexology and you spend a lot of time with the client holding on these points of imbalance, we can have quite powerful reactions. So after having reflexology, you've got to be aware of your body the next 24 hours. Things like our digestive processes change, sleep changes. So sometimes, as with a lot of treatments, we have more of a negative reaction for the first 24 hours, but after 48 hours, we start to really reap the benefits. But as I was mentioning, if you push into a point for a really long period of time, it could incur more of a reaction. So I'm going to not hold for too long, and especially because Melissa has had a few treatments today, I don't want to overdo it. There is a limit to how much holistic therapy your body can take, I think. Or maybe not, I don't know. Okay. A really, really good sign from a client is when their feet absorb the oil quite quickly, which is what the feet are doing here. So this is a really good sign that the feet are taking on board the treatment really well, which is awesome. Okay, I'm going to work along the large and small intestines now. A function to use the energy and the nutrients from the food we eat and send that back into the body, but also the ability, of course, to digest food. I'm going to come to the small intestines there, just massaging into that point. Coming down to the pelvis. It's always a good bit to work into. A little bit of imbalance there. Okay. I'm just going to come back to those adrenals which felt definitely imbalanced. Oh, those ones are a bit longer. So we also have the hormonal system, got the diaphragm so we can work into the lungs, heart, thyroid. I'll just quickly run down the lymphatic system. Okay, good. Just bring some awareness back, some movement back. Amazing. And actually this gentle push upwards is good for promoting hormonal balance, and sometimes people are like, oh, I haven't shaved my legs when I'm going up the ankles, but actually the most beneficial way of doing this is if there is a little bit of hair growth there, because you're pushing the follicles back and it's stimulating this hormonal reaction, so it's good for bringing hormones back into balance. Recommended for menopause, menopausal symptoms, or any hormonal imbalance. Awesome. Now I'm going to just come to the solar plexus, the point on the body. It would just be around the tummy, rib cage area. So we're going to bring the breath into that point now, the belly and the rib cage. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in, and as we breathe in, I push, and then exhale. Good, and again, deep breath in, and exhale. And then one more, deep breath in, and exhale. Okay, good. I'm just going to finish the treatment by placing my palms against the feet. Okay, release. You feel okay? I'm just going to pop these to the side. And I'm going to maybe just give your feet just a quick towel off. first just cleanse them actually. Put that there. A bit cold. Just give them a little wipe down. Okay, alright. I'm just going to leave the room for you to just take some time, come back into your body, come back into the space, and have a drink of water, and then you can just let me know when you're ready for me to come back in, okay? We are going to be doing in this treatment a bit of relaxation, meditation. We're going to be talking about the different chakra points. I'm going to do a little upper back massage, followed by a scalp massage as well. And me and Melissa have spoken through sort of anything I need to be aware of, any allergies, all that kind of stuff. So I know that we're good to go as far as all of that stuff's concerned. And this is kind of just to give you an idea of what a meditation, an upper back massage, and a scalp massage might look and feel like. So I'm more today going to just be giving examples of those different elements of the treatment. But a meditation is a really beautiful way to begin any treatment. So that's where we're going to start today. I suppose something I might just ask you first, Melissa, is when you've had massage in the past, do you prefer more like a firm pressure or soft? I don't know whether you're quite sensitive or...
I quite like the firm pressure.
Firm pressure,
Yeah.
And we mentioned that the shoulders are going to be a good place to work on for Melissa, so we're going to put all our energy and attention up here, which is good.
Thank you.
And most people are holding tension up in the neck and the shoulders. There's a lot of science behind the idea that we hold emotional tension in the physical body. And a lot of people will relate to the idea of the butterflies in the tummy when we get nervous. And if we experience heartache or trauma, often that can show in health conditions. We can get poorly. And the same goes for the neck and the shoulders. When people are stressed, they tend to hold it all up around the neck and the shoulders. And so it's super, super common to have tightness around here. And that then leads up through the neck into the scalp, which is why we're also going to incorporate a little bit of work around the scalp today. Now, as always, I'm going to begin the treatment by just cleansing the aura, cleansing the space. I do always quite like actually to just begin the treatment with a bit of gentle touch, just to kind of get an idea of the person, maybe how they're feeling, and how I can best support them. Just try and take the breath down into the belly in the middle of the back. Yeah, so you're taking that breath away from the neck and the shoulders. That's great. First, I'm going to use a bit of sage to cleanse the space. It's quite nice to use the sage on the back because we're working down the energy channels. I'm going to talk first today in this meditation about the different chakras. And as I do that, I'm going to incorporate this lovely upper back massage. Let's continue to cleanse the space with sound now. just helping you to step away from the chaos of the mind. Come back into your body. Some great breath work there, that's amazing. Listening deeply to the sounds. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Good. And again, deep breath in and exhale. Good. Just one more of those. Deep breath in and exhale. That's great. I'm just going to actually place, I think, a couple of crystals around you. I'm going to use crystals that are good for grounding, warding off negativity, as well as cleansing and improving sleep and reducing anxiety. Okay, good. I like to use a grapeseed oil when doing treatments. The reason being is that it's not completely non-allergenic, but it's very unlikely that we're going to get a client in that has an allergy to the grapeseed oil. It's not impossible, and there are, of course, alternatives, but this is the oil I have to hand for this treatment, or for most of my treatments, unless there are any allergies. So I'm going to introduce just movement with my hands to the back. So I'm going to talk now about the chakras. As I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of science behind the idea that we hold emotions in the physical body. Stress being held in the shoulders, worry and nerves being held in the tummy. In yoga, we talk a lot about the 7 main chakras. It's the belief that we hold specific types of emotions in different parts of the body. And even if you're not somebody that particularly believes in the whole idea of chakras, it's just a really beautiful mindfulness practice to do. And it helps you to reflect on perhaps where you struggle more in life with your emotions, and where the emotions and energies are more free-flowing. And so at the base of the spine, we have our root chakra. This relates to feelings of safety, security, trust. Also, our morals are built here. So things that we've been brought up with through childhood. Limiting or empowering beliefs are held right here in the root chakra, right at the base. So if this area is blocked, perhaps you're holding on to something from your past, releasing blocked energy from this area could look like stretching. There's different stretches we can do. There's massage. We can try to send the breath down to the base of the spine. Maybe we could visualize the color that represents the root chakra, which is red. Or we could use a mantra. A good mantra is, I am safe. And you can say it to yourself in your mind. I am safe. And then we have the sacral chakra, which is lower abdomen, pelvis, self-worth, emotional intelligence, represented by the color orange. A good mantra here is, I am enough. I am enough. And then we move up to this tummy area where I've been trying to get Melissa to breathe into, which she's doing so beautifully. Our solar plexus. Confidence. Intellect. Creativity. Represented by the color yellow. I am brave. Moving up to the heart, we experience joy, love, relationships not just with partners, but with our friends, with our family, with ourselves, with the life that we lead. Represented by the color green, Mother Nature. See if you can visualize any of these colors. Use your intuition. If you can visualize the color really easily, is that a sign that this energy is flowing and you have no blockages? Or is it a sign that maybe this is something you want to work on? This is an element that you want to try to release tension and trauma from. Moving up to the throat. The color blue. Communication. Are you able to say the things you want to say? Are you able to be truthful with yourself and with others? I have clarity. And the third eye, just between eyebrows. Intuition. We all actually have a really strong and powerful skill, our intuition, that gut feeling, but do we all listen to it? There'll be situations that you would have known deep down weren't the right choice for you in the past. Maybe you said yes to those things. You knew deep down it wasn't right for you, and then it gets to that time and you say to yourself, I knew I shouldn't have said yes to that, because your intuition is speaking out to you. The more we listen to that gut feeling, the stronger it becomes. And they all link together, yeah? So if we can release trauma and tension from what we've been brought up with, from traumas from our past, we then have more self-worth. When we have more self-worth, our confidence grows. We can then experience good relationships and joy. We have the confidence to speak truly and clearly. And then this all affects our intuition. And when we live in tune with our intuition, then the possibilities are endless. You start living in line with your core values and who you authentically are as a person. And we finally have the crown chakra at the top of the head. In the modern world, this links up to a deep sense of understanding and perspective. It comes into its own when all of these other chakras are flowing and free. The color for the throat chakra is blue. The third eye is purple. And the crown is now more like a neutral color, or maybe a sense of lightness and brightness. So, as you breathe, visualize the breath now traveling all the way up to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, all the way down to the base of the spine. It's such a beautiful practice to try and just see what comes up for you, what colors you can see easiest. What mantras align best with you. Is this pressure okay? It's quite tight there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Good, okay. You definitely have one side a little bit tighter than the other side, which is very normal. You know, often if you do massage therapy, a lot of times you'll get somebody who comes in with really tight muscles, and your instinct is to want to help and to break down that tension that that person is feeling. However, too much pressure can be detrimental to helping the client relax. We don't want to try and push into the muscles if the muscles are then pushing back into us. So it's finding that balance with the pressure and always checking in with the client. A massage would always be recommended as a repeat booking. You know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't all have the ability to be able to have regular treatments. Trust me, I would love to be going for a massage like once a week. But whenever you can, it's so beneficial. There's those occipital bones, nerves that link to our nervous system. I'm going to start working a little bit into the scalp now. And even though it doesn't really look like I'm doing very much, this kind of caring, slow movement of the hands is really comforting. And it's also helping me to just bring the hair where I want it to be for the treatment of the scalp. We don't realize, if we have long hair, how heavy the hair is. So just lifting up, maybe gently pulling just to apply a little bit of pressure can feel really good. And as I was mentioning, I think I mentioned earlier that tension around the neck and the shoulders, it it all goes up to the scalp. So actually incorporating a scalp massage is really, it's really beneficial. I think when people book a treatment, especially if they don't have the opportunity to get a treatment very often, they'll just go book a massage. But actually, alternative therapies joined on to massage can be a really just as beneficial, if not more. So I would always recommend, when booking your treatment, have a look at what your therapist offers. Have a chat with them before and see if they can tailor the treatment to you. Maybe they can add massage with something else, like reflexology, facial, scalp massage, Indian head massage. It can also give you a really good idea of what you really enjoy, so that when you get the opportunity to book a treatment again, you kind of have a better idea of other things you might enjoy and you might like. I'm going to move that fascia around the scalp now. And then we're just going to come calm. Just settling into this safe space. That's really good. When you're ready, take a deep breath in and exhale. Good. And again, deep breath in and out. Okay. One more time, deep breath in and out. Just continue to breathe normally. Just take your time. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the room, just give you an opportunity to just take a few more breaths. And there's absolutely no rush. You can bring yourself up and get yourself changed in your own time.